Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Chamber of Game here on the Leviathan Network. I'm your host, Eric Watson. I'm the PC section editor over at Leviathan.com. You can follow me on Twitter at RogueWatson. Joining me is my usual cohort and very good friend, Mr. Chris Renner. You can follow him on Twitter at Serial Viewer. That's Serial S-E-R-I-A-L Viewer. Hello, Christopher.
What's happening, Eric?
There is some force power lightning bolts coming out on the screen right now.
That is happening. I will agree.
So
It's
today
like,
we're
that's
looking.
some domestic abuse too. Is that a woman on the ground?
It could be. It's an all-new connotation. Today we're looking at Endless Legend. This is by Amplitude Studios. This just released about a week or two ago. Came out of early access officially, which we're starting to get a lot of the early access games coming out to a full release now, which has been really interesting to see how well they've been received. This was in early access all summer, and just released. This is if you recognize the Endless kind of title scheme, I guess the Amplitude Studios guys have been using this for all their games. They originally started with Endless Space, which is a turn-based 4X kind of Civ-type game, kind of like galactic civilizations in space, obviously. And then they had this one, Endless Legend, which is more like a Civ game that takes place on an actual planet. And then they have Dungeon of the Endless, which is actually a completely different game that is a roguelike tower defense game that takes place like underneath this planet that this game takes on. So all these Endless games take place in the same universe, which I think is really spiffy. They all tie together.
It's kind of a bizarre. I don't think I've ever heard of any kind of series like this before, where they've tied one story into multiple genres,
Yes.
but they've all got a chronology together.
Yes, they all have a chronology together. And in fact, I think it's supposed to be where technically Dungeon of the Endless is first, because it's like these guys crash land on a planet like underneath it, and they have to fight their way, because in that game you're fighting your way to the surface. And then Endless Legend would technically begin, because now you're on the surface trying to like establish your civilization. And then at the end of this one of the factions, their goal is to make it to the stars and like reclaim their space domination, which then would start Endless Space.
That's insane.
So you could technically play like an ongoing storyline with different genres and games, which that is pretty spiffy. But today we're going to specifically look at Endless Legend, which if you have played a Civ game, you probably already have a good idea what you're getting into. So you either kind of like these kind of games or you don't really. This is not necessarily a game that's for everybody. And in fact, I would argue the Endless games are skewed towards the hardcore fan base of these kind of games.
Certainly seemed that way with the last one. The last one seemed very gamey, like
Yeah.
a high point of entry.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely include that one. So when I just clicked on New Game, I've got a bunch of options which should be familiar to Civ players. You can shape your continent, your temperature, topography, your size, all that good jazz. It starts getting really interesting when we look at our Empire choice. So this is a game that takes place technically on a planet, but it is a sci-fi setting. This is like an alien world, not necessarily a fantasy world.
That is weird, because the
although I guess what
imagery
is
of
the
that
difference
screen-
at that point?
Right.
But, yeah, technically, any fantasy planet could is set in a universe,
Yeah.
But I just want you to look at some of these insane, like factions that they have. Extremely just absolutely crazy looking.
Whoa. Okay, that one is weird looking.
Yeah, this one's out of like fucking, like a Tim Burton
Or a Guillermo del Toro movie. It looks like
Yes.
it looks like a Hellboy character.
Yes. Yeah, so they've
Wow.
got some really, really interesting guys. Like, this is
Oh.
probably one of my favorite aspects of the game, is just like the insane variety of dudes they have.
Is that an insect man?
So,
Is that what,
yes, so
okay.
we'll just go through real quick. So your wild walkers are kind of your elves, your tree huggers. They tend to have a lot of naturalistic abilities. And you can see, I'm not a huge fan of this UI, honestly. It's just their traits are kind of listed down here as just kind of words, and you can hover over them, and they do pop up and tell you the units they get and the abilities they get.
Yeah,
it's just not like super attractive, I guess.
Right, it's not very pretty the way it's presented.
Yeah. And each faction only has 3 units
Oh wow,
that are specifically tied to them.
that one was cool looking though.
Yeah, their last one is
wood
usually pretty
golem
awesome.
thing.
Yeah, they have a settler and usually 3 guy, and they'll tell you a little backstory about them and then kind of their main victory type. So they're kind of normal. The Broken Lords, these are the guys you saw on the opening screen, which that opening screen kind of changes depending on whatever they want to show. These are space vampires.
That sounded like the beginning of a joke, right?
Yeah.
Space vampires, really?
And they have like a conscience, like they realize that they don't require food to live. They only require essentially what is this game's currency, which is dust. Which, the cool thing about that, this game uses the exact same resource system as Endless Space. Which Endless Space uses the FIDS, which is food, industry, dust, and science. Those are like the 4 main things you can produce.
Okay.
Food, industry is like how you build things in the cities. Food, how you make people. Dust is gold. Literally, it's just the currency everybody uses.
Gotcha.
And then science is your research. This faction doesn't require food. They feed on dust. And they're actually...
But they use that more of that?
Yeah, and they realize they can feed on people, but like they don't want to.
Okay.
Because they know it's like bad to feed on people.
Yeah.
So they're actually like kind of... the interesting space vampires, I guess. Obviously, there's some people... And each of these guys actually has a story and a main quest associated with them.
Nice.
Which we'll see a little bit of that depending on which one we want to fire up. The Vaulters, this is kind of your normal human faction. This is the faction that you would follow if you wanted to play all 3 games, because Dungeon of the Endless is supposed to be the Vaulters.
Ah, okay.
Because literally they started in the vaults, and they're like escaping from there.
Oh, okay. And they come up onto this world.
Yes.
With all these other races already there?
Yeah, and they kind of have this kind of ancient technology thing going on.
Oh, okay.
With a lot of their units. And they can designate like a resource as a holy resource, all that good stuff. They're better at strategic resources.
Okay.
Necrophages. These are insect guys. And a lot of these factions are similar to the ones in Endless Space in terms of their mechanics. So the Necrophages are super powerful. They're agriculturally challenged. They're actually weaker at making food, but they can recycle their own units into like resources. But they can never declare peace or have diplomacy with anybody. They are a hive mind, and they are permanently at war with everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and their dudes are all like cool-ass insect people.
Nice.
And look at their ultimate guys, just this giant freaking worm.
That's awesome.
Ardent Mages, a little bit more normal, but they can cast spells, but only by like hurting themselves. So they're like super into like slavery and torture and stuff.
Are they into BDSM?
And they can... Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
They can cast spells at the cost of dust, and like these little kind of what do they call them? Arcanas, yeah.
Okay.
Which are like special buildings you can construct. And their final guy looks crazy. It's like this weird flying, creepy bird thing.
Light dragon.
They have some really cool models in this game. Like they really go crazy with the science angle. Roving clans. He looks like a happy fellow.
He does.
These guys can actually... They're the opposite of the insects. They can never make war.
What? Okay.
And they can also move their cities.
Wow.
So they have a lot of like factions that super change the way you play the game.
So they're gypsies? Is that basically...
Yes, essentially, yeah.
They are the gypsy nation?
And it tells you main victory type economy. Like it tells you kind of what they're kind of destined to do.
Okay.
Draken, these guys are actually really good at diplomacy. They're kind of the honorable, warlike race of dragon people. And yeah, the cultists, this is your... these guys can only ever build one city.
Wow.
But that city can obviously be super powerful.
Yeah.
And their thingies are just creepy as shit looking.
Yeah.
They all look like so messed up. Like multiple heads and just giant legs. So the cool thing is, the way these Amplitude guys... Do what?
These things even... Are these like alive? They look like machines or...
I'm not sure.
Animated dolls or something.
Yeah, it says it's led by 2 creations that are remnants of the Endless. The Queen, imprisoned within her indestructible throne in the capital city, and the Unspoken, a wandering and perhaps insane being of enormous power.
Alright.
Yeah, their specialty is they just get a single city.
Wow.
So they have a lot of crazy factions that really change it up. And but what I was saying is the Amplitude, one of the things they do is this Games Together program, which you can buy in and get like points that allow you to vote in their polls. And one of the things they had was to vote on factions that they would add to this game. as
Okay.
well as, and people were creating these factions. They were like in the forums. They were saying like, somebody suggested this cult of the endless cult. What is it? What are they called? Cultists. Just cultists. Okay.
Just Goldust.
Remnants. Something cultists. But this was one of the. I think it's cultists of the eternal end. But that was one of the ones somebody came up with.
Oh,
Like,
really?
So some fan came up with this. Everybody voted as that as being like really cool, and then they designed this whole faction and put it in the game.
Wow.
They have a really cool like indie flavor with the way they operate with their community. I really respect that.
That's pretty cool.
All right, so let's jump in a game real quick. Which one do we want to see?
Oh, boy.
We're not going to see obviously a whole lot of gameplay. I just want to show a little bit of how the actual game works, and then I'll show off like the quest system and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But probably one of the more normal races. I don't know.
I don't know which ones are normal.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Broken Lords.
The Broken Lords.
The Iron Man looking dudes.
Yeah. What does their ultimate look like? Dust Bishop. So everybody has a support. Usually support, ranged, and infantry, or some of them might have cavalry instead of one of them. Yeah, this guy's cavalry.
Okay.
But they only have 3 units. And then you can get more by subjugating other minor factions, which are like kind of like city-states in Civ.
Okay.
Alright, so we selected that. We're going to go ahead and do a small world.
Temperate. What does topography do?
Makes
Just-
it more hilly or
Okay, just more.
mountainous or something, yeah.
Yeah.
This game also has a very specific aesthetic to it, and you'll be able to see that in a second. I'll just do random, I guess, there. Yeah, appetite for dust. Living things, whether or not they have bodies, require an energy source. In this case, it is only dust. So they can't see, gather, or use food. So you straight up don't have to worry about an entire resource.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But you have to worry about gold even more.
Right.
And each faction has its own specific quest line, and then you can get random quests from the game which pop up and say, hey, go to this ruins, which I think they have ruins in Civ 5 too. It's basically the same thing. Just go here, and you'll go there, and it'll be like, hey, you need to kill these guys over here, and you just kind of get these nice little random quests.
Yeah.
They can't really do much story-wise. It's kind of like, you know, go here and do X, and it's kind of randomly whatever X is supposed to be.
Right.
Auriga. Is it Auriga or Auriga?
It's a good question. I'm not going to guess.
Pay more attention during the trailer. This has been a really fantastic year for 4X strategy games.
It has. You've got it.
Like-
Yeah.
I have played, I think, all of them.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. We get their little trailer at the beginning. So every race has a nice little backstory.
Yeah.
Face the stark choice. Alter our bodies or perish. Yet survival is not the same as life. Now we are prisoners of the honor that binds us in the dust.
So basically just like living suits of armor.
We must drain.
Okay, so they've just turned
like-
they've turned into like energy. They're not
They've
like,
turned into
physical.
energy, yeah.
Where is our honor now, lords of the Amber Plains?
Yeah, they know they can like suck energy out of people, but a lot of them are like, that's not a good thing to do.
You don't like
We're-
that.
We're honorable space vampires.
Okay. Oh wow, that's kind of cool the way the like the land comes up.
Yeah. Counted a new minor fact already? Okay. The haunts. Alright, we'll look at that in a second. Alright, so yeah, this is what the aesthetic is very much a very distinct kind of jagged lines everywhere.
Right.
You can see elevation, which Civ 5 does not have like actual elevation that looks like elevation
Right.
too much on there. I mean, it's got like the mountains and stuff, but this is actually, I think, more pronounced.
Does
got,
the
like-
does the elevation affect anything?
In combat it does, yeah.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is this game does have tactical combat. If I click on this guy right now, you can see he's got an army with him. So you do stack units, and when you go into
Oh.
combat, it opens up a tactical battle, but that battle happens directly on this map.
Okay.
So basically, just both armies split all their units up to where everybody takes up a hexagon, and then you battle each other on this map.
That's kind of cool.
It's interesting, yeah. So, let's try to look at the UI real quick. This is our army guy. We always start off with a hero. This is Baron Jocelyn Deval III.
Okay. He's got a creepy mask.
Yes, he does. So this is the part that's a little unintuitive. You can see he's got a lot of capacities, which are abilities. And there's a lot of them.
Okay.
When I click on the hero, we can unlock this cool little 3D model.
Yeah.
You can equip items on him to change all his stats individually. Yeah, this can get over your head real quick. And you can look at what all his little abilities can do. Comes back to life.
Are they all like passive abilities? Or are they active? Like
yes.
Things you can do.
I believe they're all passive abilities, yes. And like Endless Space, you can either attach a hero to an army or a city as a governor, and they have abilities that can affect both.
Gotcha.
He also has a skill tree.
Wow.
Which,
okay.
Yeah. One of them is his class, which there's infantry, support, ranged, cavalry might be one. Common, so all heroes have this middle one, and then your faction-specific ones are over here. So, and some of them have to do with only if they're in a city. So like +1 gold on terrain with dust. That only helps him if he's attached to a city.
Right.
And plus 10% defense on units. That only helps if he's on an army.
Gotcha.
So heroes are pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And then I've got 2 melee guys and a settler. So I probably want to build my first city. And the other weird thing, let's see, I can scroll out all the way a little bit. Okay, looks like I start about in the middle of this world. I've got a nice river going through, which is good. We can turn on this button, and that shows us the yield of each tile.
Okay.
Which, again, this is similar to Civ-5. They just use a different system.
Right.
But, I mean, science is science. Money, I mean, dust, they even use the same freaking symbol as, gold, basically.
Oh, dust looks like gold coins?
Dust literally looks like gold coins, yeah. And normally you'd be able to see a wheat symbol for food, but these guys can't even see that because they don't need it. So you don't have to worry about that. And then the industry for building stuff. So this is a pretty good spot right here because I got this nice rumbling stones, which you can just hover over whatever area looks like it has something special in it. Like this is obviously something. And then it'll tell you exactly what it gives you from all the things and then what its total output is.
Okay.
So let's just plop our city down right where we started.
You said the gears are science?
The gear is industry. The science is the little atom symbol.
Oh, okay. Industry. Gotcha.
Yeah. Alright, so we're finding all these. Oh, these guys are cool looking too. 2-headed werewolves.
That's pretty cool. And they're ranged somehow.
They are ranged somehow, you're right. Free counter, point blank range power. Huh. So what this is, there are minor factions you can find, which exist as little villages. Which, yeah, okay, that's our city gave us more sight, that's why we can see this one.
Okay.
There is one per region, and you can either talk to them and get a quest, and then do their quest, and then they will be pacified, or you can just fight them and kill them and take them over. If you do that and you have a city in that same region, you can then assimilate them into your faction, and then you can build that unit.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It is cool. So right now, we've built this city. We only have this area right now, but if you zoom out, I automatically control the entire region of Karandar.
Karandar. Wow, that's kind of cool.
So it actually divides the world up into regions instead of just all being your city borders. Which is,
okay. So it's like conquering like countries. Like you got sections that you can take over. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So just because, so it's not necessarily the city you're fighting in. You could fight over an entire region.
What
and
happens
if you
if
have
there's two
multiple
cities in one region?
You know, I've never tried to build 2 cities in one region, honestly. I don't. Maybe you can. Well, I mean, no, I know what you do is you can build districts onto one city, and that expands the city and makes it bigger. So you might not be able to, because I think the idea is you want to build districts and just make your city bigger.
Gotcha.
Let's try walking over here and talking to these guys. Actually, might not be able to talk yet. No, we don't have the talk. I think you have to research the talk.
Oh.
All right, let's go to the research tree. This is our research tech tree.
That's interesting looking.
Yeah, so start off with some. We don't have any of the food ones available. We have to actually research our cavalry unit. We want to research this one, which allows you to parlay.
Language.
Yeah, actually talk to people. I don't want that one for another 5 turns, though. So the research screen is pretty hefty. You just go through these different
Wow.
eras, and what you do is you have to research just a certain number. I think it's 9 or 10 of one era, and then you move on to the next era,
What are
and
the
so on and so forth.
what do the quadrants mean in those circles? Do they mean anything? Like
It
the way
kind
they're
of
placed?
just they're grouped by it's what is it, military, science and industry, empire and expansion, and economy
Okay.
and population. So they're just kind of grouped.
Gotcha.
And then some of these will like up your amount of units you can have in a single army. They'll allow you to recruit additional heroes. They'll allow you to build additional weapons and armor. There's a lot of really good
Wow.
research trees. The annoying thing is there's not really a steady research like path, so it can be kind of overwhelming.
In terms of what goes into what?
Yeah, and then once you start unlocking a whole new era, you still have like old ones you can research, so it just kind of compounds
Oh,
the amount of
wow.
research options you have.
Yeah.
It just kind of gets insane. And then one of the victory conditions is just to research every single one of these in the 6th era.
Yeah.
So I think that's... Oh, I guess we could... Can we attack them? There's 2 people in there. We could probably defeat them, sure. If we don't, this will be quick. Alright, so here's what the combat looks like. The battle with the Haunts village is about to begin. So, this is one thing I wasn't a fan of in Endless Space, and I honestly am not a fan of it here, but I will show you how the combat works. You can do manual or auto. I actually like doing auto a lot because I don't like their combat. So automatically this part's different. Like, you just battle, it's a separate battle screen, but it's also the same map.
Right, yeah.
You're just battling on the same map. You can actually deploy your guys initially, which I think my guys are all melee, so I'll probably just leave them right there. What is he? Oh, he's infantry also, so actually let's move him over here. Doop, 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 doop. And then you click ready.
Okay.
So now what you say is you can assign targeting orders to your units. So all you can do is say, I would like you to attack him as soon as you can.
Gotcha. Just
And then when you actually hit
generalized.
launch, everybody does their own thing. Like, you can't even choose their pathing or anything.
Okay.
You can see their initiative up here, which tells you that my hero will go first, and then the 2 enemies will go first, and then my 2 guys.
Okay.
So if I do this, he should step there and then attack them, and then it's whatever they want to do. So all I can do is hit ready, and then I am just hands off,
You're
and
just
I totally have to
watching the
let them
action.
attack. Yep.
And they always respond. Okay.
Yeah, there's always counterattacks. Oh, they're being, and see, oh, there's a whole lot of little symbols and things, which I'm not too clear on. You can see there's sword attack, and all these little symbols down here. They probably have to do with being
Right.
flanked and all these things that are not super clear. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's just do that again. And you can see down here it says phase 2 out of 6. It is actually possible, weirdly enough, if it goes beyond 6 turns, the battle will just end, even if there are 2 units left. So it's like, it's almost like an old, like, I don't know, like a war where 2 sides just fought, and then both sides had to like back off and like rest. Like nobody technically gained any ground.
Really?
Yeah.
and when he goes back to the
Alright, we still
This-
haven't killed this guy. Jeez.
regular map, both guys are just still there, with whatever guys they had left.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, he should be able to kill him. Oh! Jeez, we lost our hero, though.
Okay. These haunts are no joke.
No, they're not. They're no joke.
And they're
Luckily, our hero will regenerate if we win this battle,
okay.
which I think we will. This is a
Boy.
very painful battle.
Yeah.
It sucks that they have the initiative over us. That's what's killing me. Well, we lost 1 unit, but that one should be able to finish him off. Yep. Yeah, those are cool-looking guys.
Yeah. Like ghost
And it-
swordsmen.
Yeah, so the heroes do come back if you win the battle at least.
Okay.
And everybody can gain experience and level up, obviously. So now this village is burned down, and these villages will spawn roaming units that will roam around and mess you up, so it is good to take care of them.
Right.
And whenever I can, now you can see here I have a building option to build the haunts, which means I literally rebuild it on the map, but it's under my control, and now I can start building that unit.
Cool.
It is.
Like that.
It's going to take 10 turns to do it, though, which is a bummer. It's an end turn. Now we're going to need some units, though, at this point. turn off the yielding thing. Okay, so this is popping up. Our first quest as a Broken Lord. You actually have this huge little... It's a nice little storytelling, too.
Oh, yeah?
Each faction has their own specific one. Yeah.
Escort a Broken Lord's hero with at least 3 infantry to inspect the temple ruins.
Yep. And reward, we get some kind of luxury resource, basically.
Moonleaf. Okay.
Which, the way the luxury resources work here, there's no happiness thing, there's a contentness, which is what the little thumbs up is.
Oh, okay.
But you kind of use them as a booster, and then that gives you that effect for however many turns. So it's like, basically, luxury resources are like temporary boosts you can use. Fortunately, we don't have nearly enough infantry units. I need to explore some of these other temple ruins. Oh, geez, there's another enemy right there. You can see the red along the purple that I have.
Is that another nation?
Yep, that is an AI.
Awesome.
Search these ruins. You found nothing of interest. Excellent. Let's turn that off. So can I build my... Let's build some more infantry, guys. Unfortunately, they really make you wait forever to get the first couple things.
Yeah, the first section of turns has nothing in it.
Yeah. Pretty much all you can do in the beginning is search for those ruins. It's a big river. But it's that same, you know, it's really familiar 4X stuff where it's just you do your shit and you rebuild cities, you hit end turn. But that being said, there's a lot of unique stuff that is all done to kind of make things a little more complex. So if that is intriguing to you, then I think this should be really interesting. But if you like Civ 5 because of how user-friendly it is, then I don't necessarily know if I would recommend this too terribly much.
Right.
There we go. 30 dust. We need that to feed.
Nice.
I mean, the addition of having heroes and equipping things on those heroes alone is gets pretty complicated. Although Warlock 2 did that, which I actually reviewed earlier this year.
Right, yeah.
But that didn't have tactical combat in it.
At that game on here.
We did, yeah. We did have a Chamber of Game of that one. But that didn't have the tactical combat. That just had that direct Civ 5, like, bam unit on the map, and then they do their damage. Improve search on ruins. Sewer system. Gives me an approval bonus. Space vampires need a sewer system? I guess they do.
Yeah. Do they have waste? I don't know how that... How does that work with that food?
I don't know how that works. And there are there's 2 other special resources: titanium and glass steel, and those allow you to basically craft and equip a lot of items.
Okay.
And you find those as like mines on the map, and then you have to have a city in that region, and then you can rebuild it. But the idea is, I think you want to just have like kind of one city in the best spot in a region, and then you can exploit just various spots in the region once you have claimed that region.
Right.
Get as close as we can to this red guy and see if we can see anything. We cannot. Surprised it hasn't popped up that we can talk to him yet. Let's see.
Crossed into his territory.
Yeah, I'm just waltzing in now. I
Yep.
just have to find his city or his units first. Just a couple space vampires coming to say hey. Alright, we do have a infantry we can add to our army. They do make all that pretty easy to do. You can split armies up, you can combine armies, however you need to. And a lot of these systems were seen first in Endless Space. Like a lot of this.
Oh, really?
And yeah, the combat is a little better here. The combat in Endless Space is literally like pick like what general tactics you want, and then you just watch a scene of like the battle unfold.
Yeah.
Which is not. I mean, I'm a fan of doing. If you're gonna do tactical battles, then I want you to do the tactical battles.
Right. Yeah. Go to town with it.
Are Haunt's infantry guys? I don't even know. those guys in there. Where are you, red guy? I want to say hi.
You have no idea like what nation he is right now.
I got no clue. Oh boy, now we got a new... Okay, so searching these ruins gave us a new quest.
Okay.
Relic of the Past. Within 5 turns, search for a relic at the temple ruins illuminated by rays of dust. So that just says, in 5 turns, search this spot. Like, all right, it
right
gives me
there.
something. Yeah. And I really like that quest system.
Yeah, it's kind of nifty. Something to work towards.
Yeah, I think a lot of those 4X games are going in that direction, because I'm pretty sure Civ Beyond Earth is also going to use a randomized quest system. We should be able to get up there in 2 turns. And I apologize if I'm playing this game very poorly. I have not been able to get a whole lot of time involved. So I don't know what is the optimum builds and all that good stuff.
I wouldn't know either.
Search the ruins. Ooh, we found a sword. Break wall, or no, a shield.
Shield, yeah.
Called Break Wall.
Okay.
So you see on the bottom, that costs 10 titanium.
To
just
build
to equip
or
it.
to equip it. Okay.
To wield it, I think. Okay, so you find a lot of items that people can use as well.
That's
just for
cool.
heroes.
You just put them on your hero. Now, if you put them on your hero, does it affect just your hero or the units under him as well?
Depends on the item. It sometimes will say like adds to your, you know, all your units or something.
Gotcha.
So do I have to be buying people, don't I? Since I don't actually grow people. Yeah. Click to buy a population increase at the cost of 56.
Asexual reproduction. They have to pool their dust together
You
to
just
create a new one.
yeah, you just buy people. It's interesting. Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, wait, this is never gonna grow because I'm not making food. So I actually have to manually come in here and purchase people. But I just upped my production by a ton, and I really like their UI system is nice. Again, if you're more hardcore into this kind of genre and you really want to get the most out of it, you can micromanage the hell out of things. You can easily drag, and this is exactly used in Endless Space. You can drag individual people. I can make one person go to dust, and it tells me immediately, okay, here's how much production you're getting per person that's assigned to it. Here's your modifiers. Here's what your city tiles are giving you. Here's your total output. Like, all that is super easy to see.
Wow.
And you don't even have to enter a separate city screen. It just pops up right on the screen like that. All that is pretty cool. And again, if you've played Endless Space, then obviously you probably should play this one because it uses a lot of the same systems. And the two are very closely related. Just one's space game, and this is a more Civ type game. Wait, what ruins was I supposed to use? Oh, wow. Those ruins are far. That's where my next quest is? Holy hell. That's the one I have to go with 3 guys? Meanwhile, there's an enemy that's settled over here.
Imperian. We still haven't found him yet.
No, I haven't. This region is huge. Oh, I guess, yeah, about the same as mine, maybe. Let's try going up here. There we go. Oh, great. Insect people.
Oh, boy.
Cold War. He's mildly jealous. We have a common frontier. So what's funny is he'll like sit there and talk with you. He doesn't have like a specific insect thing, which is you know, kind of the shades of the indie being shown, I think, here. You know, you don't have obviously any voice acting or too much specific like faction dialogue. So obviously the insect guy probably wouldn't say, "Let's see if our empires can live together in harmony."
Or there's a whole like subplot here where everyone's just racist against the insect people. They're like trying to talk to people. And
they're like the nice people. We just can't understand them. They're like, "You're horrifying mandibles. You're obviously evil."
And we're at war.
Yeah, but you can see if I try to start negotiation, I can't. They have no terms. Like,
yeah, maybe you just can't communicate.
You can't. That's really what it comes down to. It's you technically can't be. And this is the diplomacy screen, which is also the same as Endless Spaces. You just can't communicate with them at all, which is basically means you're at war.
That's been the tenet of many a classic sci-fi novel.
Yes.
That if two civilizations can't communicate at all, they inevitably have to destroy one another.
Yep. Such is life. Go way back over here. I believe this guy started right next to me. Click this little... Oh! Hello. It's just his hero, isn't it? He's a hero and a demon. How did you get a demon already?
I'm just
Son of a
noticing.
bitch.
I'm just noticing his name is
Feeds on Bones the second.
Which is a great name.
It really is.
A truly great name.
Because, I mean, if your name is Feeds on Bones, you're obviously naming your first
name
son,
your son yeah.
Feeds on Bones.
At least he's not Feeds on Bones Jr. That would be embarrassing.
Shouldn't it, though? I thought you always go junior. Nobody ever says the second. Once you're the third, then you get to be the third. This is... Oh, wow, yeah. My guys are super weak. 27 attack, defense 64.
What is that demon?
45 attack, defense 51.
Jeez.
This could be very interesting right here.
Yeah, you got more of them, but it is a demon.
Yeah, it is a demon. Tell you what, I'm gonna walk right here and I'll let him make the decision. He's a cool hero though. He's straight up very insect-like looking.
It's like a big beetle man.
Yeah. Let's make it over here. The haunts. You know what? I should be able to just purchase guys at this point too. How much would that cost me? 162. Wow, 182 to increase the population again. Let's see if he wants to battle. I noticed that you have placed armies on my territory. Are they here on vacation? See, now I picture him saying these things really nicely, but his like inflection is like, and my guys are just like drawing their swords, going, "Oh shit,
die monster!"
And then the insects guy's like, "Oh god, we have to defend ourselves.
Don't hurt us."
It says we're only on Cold War, so maybe they actually aren't on active war. So maybe he's not technically permanently at war, but you just can't negotiate.
Right.
There's his damn city down there.
Bugs' active cowardice is to scream and run at people.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they'll back down. Stupid bugs. I won't mess with you yet. I really dig the aesthetic, though. Just the way this world is built. It's not trying to go for any kind of realistic, input, but you can clearly see what tiles are. All the special tiles really jump out at you.
It actually kind of reminds me of the old Heroes in My Magic games.
Yeah.
Go from like snow tile to lava tile, just because they're next
yeah, because they're like right next. Yeah, whatever the random did. Yeah, kind of like that. You needed 4 infantry people with you. I should crush those insect people.
But you should. Destroy them all.
Yeah. So, okay, do we finally get to see something now? I mean, it's a bit of a slow burn in the beginning. I'm trying to at least get to the haunts.
Like most of these civilizations games
So
are.
this is every couple, not couple. So every so often you can choose an empire plan, which allows you to spend influence, which is technically kind of a 5th resource. You can gain influence, and you spend influence by diplomacy and through subjugating all those units. To actually assimilate a faction, you have to use influence.
Okay.
And you can do one of these 4 directions, which associates with the research tree as well. Military, science, industry, empire, and expansion, or economy and population. Unfortunately, it costs, I believe, 20 to get the first tier, and I only have 19, so I'm going to have to wait till the next empire plan is available,
Yeah.
in order to get the plan. Unfortunately. Okay, let's try using that pacify on these guys. Now we can actually talk to people. We're not insects. Free our people. This tribe wants proof that you're a reliable ally. They have brothers imprisoned in a nearby region, but only vague clues in their whereabouts. Find them, free them, and you will cement the tribe's trust. So in other words, you don't have to kill every minor faction you come across. You can do these quests for them.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Some of the quests involve killing other people.
Right. Then you have to choose.
Yeah, it's more exciting than the city-state system just because you get to eventually build these units if you also conquer the region.
You get something tangible from them.
Yeah, which is cool. Well, it looks like a blue guy just moved in, and you can see when I zoom out, you get to see the regions a lot better, and then the colors.
You can kind of see the name of the top one. It's something Draj.
Yeah, yeah. And that looks like a much smaller one, actually.
It does.
And I think it's kind of random how big they are. This one is particularly huge. It's one of the biggest ones I've ever seen.
So when you first build a city, the size of the region that it creates is just totally random?
When the world gets generated, then the regions are created.
Oh.
So like, look over here. Nobody's occupying these, but these are clearly already regions.
Oh, okay.
So like
Once again,
world already.
What happens if you build a city in the bottom of Karandar and some other faction just starts at the top of Karandar and also builds a city there?
I don't think you can build a city once somebody owns the country.
Okay.
I don't think you can.
So the game must make
we're going
a choice not to start people in the same region then.
Right, yeah, that is true. We're going to try to build a settler. Well, let's see if I can do it in enough turns. I don't want to take forever. Oh, God, it's going to cost so much money. In 7 turns. Awesome. Let's move everybody to production. 6 turns. And then let's just kind of... Oops, let's see. We encountered the Wild Walkers. They're indifferent. Also start off as Cold War. Just see if we can... go a few turns and just see, as I'm interested about that too, about how the settler and all that stuff. Because that is a very different system than what...
Yeah, the region system is...
The Civ games
it's
work.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know how it quite works.
It's a lot different. So, encountered a minor faction, the Seriton, which have straight up spider people. And some of these, they go crazy, yeah. They have so much cool, just units.
Do you see a lot
of guys that are there's dragons, there's bird people, there's hydras, there's snake people,
nice.
Just basically every cool monster manual,
yeah.
creature is in here. So it's really exciting to find some of these. There's just giant ogres and trolls. It's really interesting. Go down here and talk with these guys. Oh, can't talk with them. You have already obtained a quest from the minor faction of the region. Oh.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, so there's only one minor faction in each region too?
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't find more than one of those in a region. Once you've found it, that's the one. All right, we've almost got our settler. Okay, so over here... Oops, I'm searching these ruins first. You found nothing. Okay, so these guys just spawned a random roving army. Which they'll just do. And these are the two-headed werewolf guys.
Oh, really? Nice.
So okay, so they're armed with crossbows.
Oh, they're
crossbows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they just spawn those guys, and those guys just wander around and wreck your shit.
Wow.
Even if you're doing a quest for them, they're like, yeah, whatever, we're neutral. Alright, almost got our settler. So I really want to see... Oh god, another Driders also. Alright, we need to get closer to us.
Oh boy. So you got spider women and two werewolves all running around.
Yep. Alright, settler, let's see what you can do. You cannot found a city in a region which is already colonized. Okay. So there's your answer.
Okay.
So once somebody has conquered a region, yeah.
So that means you got to make a real conscious, when you go in, if you're going into a new territory, you got to make a real conscious decision because you can't put 2 cities in that territory.
Well, but see, the idea is you can build districts, which we haven't shown that because it takes forever to build a district. But when you build a district, it adds another tile on the map, and it expands the entire city's tile sets.
Okay, so you can sort of...
So you don't stay at this small thing.
I see.
In fact, let me click. Yeah, so you.
But
click
I mean,
on,
like, looking at this one,
boroughs.
like the top of that river, or over there where there's like that blue crystals. Would you?
Oh yeah, in terms of your starting in terms of your starting location, yeah, you want to get as good of a spot as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You can expand. That is a big part of the game, is expanding your cities, and then they actually level up the districts and all that good stuff. But yeah, especially with the size of these districts, it's super interesting.
Right.
All right, let's.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I want to show one kind of mid-game. This one. Before we stop, one kind of mid-game combat, because I think I was right before a pretty big, like, I think it was against the Insect guys too.
Nice.
Yep, they're the Montezuma of this world.
Nobody likes you, Insect people.
Total jerks. Okay, I think this is the one. So if I go here, so I'm playing as the Ardent Mages is the map on this one. So I've expanded to other regions in this direction, but then the Insect guys moved into this region.
Okay.
Took it over. I forgot how big this one was. Holy crap, that is a giant region.
Right, yes it is.
And yeah, it's the same thing you were saying. Like when I settled these regions, I tried to find like the best spot with all the best little shiny bits.
Yeah.
And the best tiles in each region.
The best bobbles in the area.
Yes, the bobbles. I think if I click end turn, I think he attacks me. Oh no, he retreats. That's not good. You're supposed to show me combat, sir.
Don't run away.
Yeah. Alright, once do I try to siege his city then?
Geysers. That's cool.
Let's try to move up. You can actually siege a city and you can attack a city. If you siege it, it like really cripples the city and kind of lowers its fortification.
Okay.
Ah, he did. He just took off in his boat. Well, okay. That's not what the other save was doing.
Later, sucker.
Declare war. So I actually have to declare war on the Insect people.
Oh, okay. So it's not at war. It's just they just can't talk to you.
They just can't talk to you. Well, all right.
So they very well could be like the nicest people on the planet.
They totally could. Yeah. Oh well. So you can see in this instance, I was able to build these orc guys are part of a minor faction, whereas these all these warlocks are my regular unit.
Gotcha.
Well, this is not the big battle. Before, when I the turn later, that other hero ran up to me and attacked me, and it turned into this giant battle. But apparently he knew.
This time he figured it out.
Yeah. I was just attacking his city. You can see they literally just attack people that are in that city. Each city starts off with a militia, which automatically defends their city, which is nice. It always bugged me in Civ that you could create a city and have literally no protection.
Right.
In terms of a unit on. I mean, it would still kind of have that fortification, but.
Okay.
And then you automatically take over the city and then the entire region if you take their city down.
Wow. So
big,
there can only be a very limited number of cities on the map then, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, one per region.
Okay.
So that strategy of the person that only gets the one city is not really like
not
that
much of
crippling.
a
You just hope you have a good starting position. Obviously, you might want to spend a few more turns till you plop that city down.
Right.
But eventually, you would probably end up having that city tile take up like half the region because that's how you can expand it. And then you would just kill other people.
Okay.
So there's a lot of neat systems at work here. You can go into a marketplace and buy additional heroes, as well as well, these are the creatures. Okay, here's the heroes, and they cost money, and they'll be like exclusive to you, and this guy's on sale, and here's the market price for this guy.
Nice.
Which the funny thing is, you can.
on Bones the first.
Yes, so you can obviously. This is the other weird part. You can buy literally anybody.
Long face.
So you can buy Empty Belly the Third to lead my warlock army. So I'm sure the warlocks would appreciate that a lot.
He would just occasionally eat one of them.
Yeah, who's this guy with 5 faces? Why are we letting him in charge? Like, it's okay. He's on the level.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's got... The UI is not, I would say, terribly intuitive.
You know,
but
that's something I've noticed about these indie games. Actually, that seems to be the last thing that gets worked on. If you go from, like, indie to A level,
I will say if it is a complex game, like a complex genre like this, where they're trying to really do a lot of stuff with it, then yes, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
That's absolutely usually the case. So, I mean, the sum of it parts, it's super interesting. If you're longing for a Civ-type game that has more to it in terms of heroes and a little bit more tactical combat.
Right.
The region system makes it a lot different, I think, in terms of how cities work and how you actually control the map, and it does a lot of more different things. I think the biggest weakness, though, is that this is surprisingly a really good year for 4X strategy games, and people have a lot of options. Right? Yeah, Warlock 2 came out earlier.
Bizarre because there's been no competition. For like
there really hasn't. We're just up to our assholes now. Like Age of Wonders 3. We'll have Civ Beyond Earth like very soon. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic year.
Yeah.
So I fear Endless Legend might get forgotten about, but definitely should check it out if you're into this genre. I think it's got some pretty cool things about it. Amplitude Studios.
Cool.
I'm definitely a fan of what they do and how they operate their company. I think that's really cool as well. I also look forward to Dungeon of the Endless. Whenever that comes out, we can finally tell the complete story of the Endless Universe.
Right.
Alright, well, this has gone on way longer than I anticipated, but, 4X games tend to take a while to show.
That's one more turn.
Yeah, more turns, exactly. So we'll be bringing this to a close. Thank you, Chris, for joining me. I am Eric Watson. Chris, where can we follow you on Twitter, sir?
You can follow me at Serial Viewer, as in serial killer.
As in serial killer.
Serial killer who watches movies.
I get it. It's clever. You can follow me on Twitter at Rogue Watson. Check out all of our awesome videos at leviathan.com. Stay tuned for more awesome Chamber of Game videos at the Leviathan YouTube channel, as well as our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/LeviathanTV. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.